This disturbing footage was posted by a TikTok user going by the name ice.lemon, who claims a motorcyclist came face to face with something truly terrifying while riding down a remote dirt road in the dead of night. With nothing but thick jungle growth pressing in on either side, the rider spots a pale figure standing motionless in the darkness up ahead. Rather than turning around, they slowly press forward to get a better look.
Apa kau bikin di situ, kawan? Mau pergi mana juga kau ini? Wih, tersangka dua. Mau pergi mana kau? Jalanlah, aku mau limpas nih. Budak-budak ba ini? Jalanlah. Jalanlah kawan. Budak-budak ini baik. Tapi ya. Oke ya, macam mau jatuh pula. Aku limpas lah dulu kawannya, jangan kawan wah. Situ siya kau ha. Aku limpas dulu ya. Budak-budak ba ini. Aku limpas dulu kay mau antar laporan lagi aku ini. Situlah kau. Limpas dulu kawan. Limpas dulu kawan. Limpas dulu. Ay, kayaknya bawa mo kawan. Macam bawa kemangian kau kawan.
As the bike edges closer, the shape begins to take on a more defined form. It starts to look like a woman dressed in a long white gown, with what seems to be dark hair draped over the upper part of her body. The figure doesn't move a single inch as the rider draws near. The motorcyclist ultimately passes within just a couple of feet of it, drops the camera angle, and continues riding into the night without once glancing back.
Paslah dulu kawannya, jangan kawan wah. Situ siya kau ha. Aku limpas dulu ya. Budak-budak ba ini. Aku limpas dulu kay mau antar laporan lagi aku ini. Situlah kau. Limpas dulu kawan. Limpas dulu kawan. Limpas dulu. Ay, kayaknya bawa mo kawan. Macam bawa kemangian kau kawan.
Maybe it was nothing more than a white cloth draped over some roadside object, or perhaps someone planted themselves there deliberately to spook passing riders. But who would stand perfectly still on a desolate road at that hour? Was this just an elaborate setup designed to go viral? Or had the rider just come dangerously close to the ghostly entity locals know as a kunti, silently lurking in the shadows? This next story comes from a woman named Daisy, who describes a deeply terrifying encounter that unfolded inside her own home. She, her husband, and their 2 children live in a remote spot nestled in the mountains of Holualoa, Hawaii. The surrounding landscape is stunning, almost like something out of a postcard, but the region also carries a long history of legends, folklore, and reported encounters with spirits. In the video's description, Daisy makes a point of saying that neither she nor her husband are the type to get spooked easily. She also notes that this wasn't the first time something strange or supernatural had occurred within the walls of their home. Even so, nothing from their past experiences came close to preparing them for what took place in the dead of that night. It started while Daisy was in the bedroom changing her newborn's diaper. The house was completely quiet until a voice rang out, calling for her. The most chilling part? It was a perfect match for her oldest son's voice.
Yeah?
As you can clearly make out, a voice calls out the word, "Mommy." Recognizing it instantly as her son, Daisy spun around expecting to find him standing in the doorway, but the room was empty. She tried to rationalize it at first, telling herself it might have been some ambient noise she'd misidentified. Then, moments later, the voice came again. This time, though, it didn't seem to be originating from anywhere inside the house. Standing in the bedroom, it sounded like it was drifting in from outside. That was the moment Daisy could no longer dismiss what she was hearing. Shaken, she woke her husband and explained that something out there had been mimicking their son's voice. He headed downstairs to sweep through the house, checking windows, listening for anyone outside, looking for anything that could account for it. He came up completely empty. While Daisy's husband moves through the lower level of the house, some viewers have picked up on another odd detail buried in the footage. At a certain point, a faint sound, almost like a whistle, can be heard in the background. Her husband appears completely unaware of it as he continues his search, likely because his focus was fixed on whether someone had actually gotten inside. There's no definitive way to say whether that sound belonged to something unknown or was simply a stray noise the camera happened to capture. But what makes the whole ordeal so deeply unsettling is that initial call. The voice wasn't just convincingly human, it was indistinguishable from Daisy's own child. Following the incident, the couple set up a camera in the kids' room, given that this wasn't the first brush with something unexplained in their home. But Daisy is clear that this was, without question, the most disturbing thing they had ever experienced there. Mysterious footsteps or strange bumps in the night are unnerving enough on their own, but something lurking out in the darkness, using your own child's voice as bait to draw you in, that's something on an entirely different level. And after that night, perhaps what frightened the family most wasn't the thought of what might be waiting outside. It was the realization that whatever it was, already knew precisely how to reach Daisy. This deeply unsettling footage was first posted online on May 20th, 2026. A man by the name of Raymond had been monitoring his ailing mother through a baby monitor when he spotted something that didn't sit right with him.
What the fuck is that noise?
On the monitor screen, she kept directing her gaze toward the ceiling, as though she was tracking something hovering directly overhead. Yet no matter how closely anyone looked, there was absolutely nothing visible in that room. What made it all even harder to dismiss was that this had been going on for weeks. Raymond had caught his mother on camera multiple times, her arms reaching upward as though she was trying to grasp at something that wasn't there. He went over every inch of the ceiling and the space above her bed again and again, and still came up empty every single time. Then, during yet another recording session, the camera picked up something that raised the stakes considerably. While Raymond was once again filming his mother stretching her arms toward the ceiling, a nurse named Judy stood at her bedside. Without any warning, Judy's hair suddenly rose upward on its own. Reviewing the footage afterward, she hadn't turned her head or shifted her body in any way that could account for it. Her hair simply appeared to be drawn upward by an invisible force. Judy herself later confessed that she had genuinely felt something yank at her hair in that moment. That was enough to convince Raymond that if something unseen had physically interacted with the nurse, maybe his mother had been perceiving something real above her bed this whole time. The camera had never revealed any visible presence on the ceiling, but Raymond felt there was one more clue worth considering: his mother's cell phone, which sat on the bed right next to her. During one of these episodes, as she once again stretched her arms toward the ceiling, she suddenly grabbed her phone and aimed its camera straight up. The brief clip she recorded only added to the confusion for Raymond and the medical team around her. No one, not Raymond, not the nurses, could make sense of what showed up in that video. Rather than capturing anything on the ceiling, the footage revealed a strange bulge suddenly rising beneath his mother's blanket in a spot where nothing had been a moment before. Earlier recordings had shown the bed lying completely flat, yet this inexplicable shape appeared in tandem with strange sounds also caught on the recording. Ever since, Raymond has been left wondering whether whatever is happening in that room goes far beyond just the ceiling. On November 6, 2022, a man named Troy Legault, who shares his home with his family and 3 dogs, managed to record something deeply unsettling. Troy has noted that the house was constructed only a decade ago, leading him to believe it's too new to have any kind of haunting attached to it. What unfolds next, however, has him seriously reconsidering that position.
My house, and I'm not home.
Details surrounding this footage are pretty sparse, but that doesn't make it any less creepy. The one thing we do know is that nobody was inside the house when this all went down. On top of that, Troy reports a whole pattern of strange activity throughout the home, ranging from objects shifting on their own to lights switching on without anyone touching them. Troy has no rational explanation for any of it, and honestly, neither do we. As always, it's going to be up to you to decide whether this is paranormal. A young man by the name of Jimmy Aziz had built a YouTube channel around posting singing clips, but on June 28, 2017, he put something up that was far darker and more disturbing than anything he'd shared before. He'd been goofing around with a group of friends on a Facebook live stream, laughing, singing, just having a good time, when an unsettling and completely unexpected sound cut through the fun. Take a listen.
stop. Oh, my pitu, my pitu, my pitu, my pitu, my pagi. My pagi, my pitu, my kita tengok, my kita tengok. Buka lampu, pi.
Without warning, a heavy bang rang out from somewhere deeper in the house, rattling everyone in the room. Fearing that someone had broken in or was hiding inside, the group nervously started moving through the rooms, checking every shadow and corner. That's the moment the camera caught something that stopped them cold. Pay close attention to what unfolds.
Ya. Đợi gắn đâu. Đợi xin lạ đi à. Allah Akbar. Bodoh. Ya Allah.
Stepping into an unlit room, they came face to face with a strange, motionless figure standing silently in the corner, barely visible in the darkness. The stream ended abruptly, swallowed by the boys' panicked screaming. It was difficult to process at first, but looking more carefully, the shape appeared to be humanoid, wrapped tightly in cloth, its body seemingly restrained. In a follow-up after the stream ended, the boys explained that the house had been locked the entire time, with no family members present. There was absolutely no explanation for how anything could have gotten inside, and they identified the figure as a pocong. In Indonesian folklore, the pocong is described as a tormented spirit that could not find rest even in death. The legend stretches back centuries, taking root following the spread of Islam throughout Indonesia, when wrapping the deceased in a white burial shroud became standard practice. According to the tradition, the pocong is bound from head to foot in that shroud, and because its legs are tied together, it cannot walk normally. Instead, it propels itself forward in short, eerie hops through the dark. It is said to haunt cemeteries, abandoned roads, and decaying old homes. Witnesses claim it startles people, gives chase, or materializes directly in front of them without warning. One of the most widely discussed sightings goes back to 2003 in the Indonesian city of Bandung, where multiple residents reported seeing a white-shrouded, hopping figure moving through the streets at night, though the incident was never verified by any scientific or official investigation. So the question is left wide open. Was there truly a pocong inside Jimmy Aziz's house that night? Could the whole thing have been an elaborate prank? Or is something far stranger going on beneath the surface? Drop your thoughts in the comments. An Uber Eats driver by the name of Jose is pulling a night shift until 6 a.m., trying to scrape together enough cash to get his son a PS5 for his upcoming birthday. While killing time between orders, he starts recording himself talking about the gift. And that's when things take a deeply unsettling turn. Pay close attention to what unfolds.
Que me caiga un pasaje. Hoy voy a trabajar hasta las 6 de la mañana. El huerco cumple años en una semana. Güey, ¿sí vieron? Ay, ya me cayó viaje. ¿Qué pedo? Se me hace que fue el aire. Qué raro, nunca me había pasado eso. Se abrió muy lenta la puerta y se cerró de golpe. Bueno, sí, les decía que el huerco cumple años en una semana y me está pidiendo el ¿cómo se llama este? El Xbox, el último, el 5, el Play 5. Y está carito, la verdad sí está medio caro. Pero pues lo que pide el huerco. Ya saben cómo son los hijos, hay que darles lo que quieren también en un día importante como pues lo de su cumpleaños, ¿no? ¿Saben cómo me siento? Siento como una sensación, una vibra extraña. No sé si han sentido así como cuando están en un lugar que dicen, ya me quiero ir. Alerta, ya vete de aquí. O cuando estás con alguien que dices, me tengo que quitar de esta persona porque va a pasar algo. Así siento ahorita. Y no por lo de la ventana. O sea, sí estuvo raro, pero como que tengo esa... No sé, como que esa sensación ahorita. Ojalá y no sea una señal de que ya mejor me vaya a mi casa. porque como estoy trabajando de noche, pues hay muchos accidentes y todo. Pero bueno, trataré de no pensar en eso. Les decía que sí, ahorita el Play 5 ya está bien caro. O sea, la neta, está súper caro todo eso. Y tengo que chingarle, tengo que trabajar pues ahora sí que duro, ¿eh? Gracias. ¿Escucharon? Güey, dijeron gracias. Y la puerta se abrió y se cerró sola. Ah, chinga. A lo mejor ella llevaba pasaje. Con razón me sentía bien extraño, güey. Se los juro que justo ahorita en esos momentos, como que me sentí un poco libre, como liberado. Ay, güey, no haya sido que me llevé a un ser de otro mundo o algo. Ay, la puerta está cerrada. No mames, tiene el seguro la puerta. Ay, no, ¿saben qué? Mejor.
Out of nowhere, the passenger door slowly swings open on its own, then slams shut hard, almost as though an invisible passenger just climbed in. Jose admits he immediately felt a wave of unease, and moments later the door swings open a second time, this time accompanied by a disembodied voice clearly saying thank you, and then gracias, before the door shuts once again. Rattled and desperate for answers, he turns around to check the back seat and verify that the door is actually locked. Jose has come to the conclusion that he may have unknowingly ferried a ghost to its destination, but I'll leave that call entirely up to you. Madeline is a certified nursing assistant at a hospice care facility. The majority of her patients are elderly individuals who can no longer look after themselves or need round-the-clock support due to conditions like dementia. She's working the night shift and is recording something unusual to show her co-worker. A call light in one of the rooms has just activated for the third time. For those unfamiliar, call lights are the buttons patients use to summon staff when they need help. The problem is, this particular room has no patient in it, and yet she still has to go in and switch it off. Here's what her camera caught.
Just for documentation. Proof to show my babe when I get home. This is the third time. See that bathroom light going off? This is the third time in my 12-hour shift. Mind you, empty room. I'm so fucking scared right now, I swear to God, bro. No one wanted to come down with me, fucking assholes. Oh, hell no. I'm so scared to go in there. I gotta ask my coworker to watch me. Okay. Watch me go in this room, please. I don't want to go in there by myself. I'm scared. Watch me go in there, okay? Oh, this old lady. Nobody. I know, but watch me, because I'm scared. Ain't nobody in here. Call light's up there.
Visibly shaken, she asks another colleague to accompany her and keep watch as she steps inside. Almost as though she's had unsettling experiences in this room before, she walks in to deactivate the call light and finds the room completely empty. But then a faint voice becomes audible. There's not a soul in here. A disembodied whisper says, "Help me." And that's not easy to brush off given that no one is currently assigned to this room and the call light has triggered 3 separate times, which, let's not forget, is literally the mechanism patients use to cry out for assistance. And then, right as she crosses the threshold, that voice says it again, "Help me." So is this the lingering presence of a former patient who drew their last breath in that very room? That's a question that may never have an answer. The clips you're about to see were shared by a young woman named Cecilia. Not long ago, she began reposting a collection of older footage from several years back, videos that allegedly documented bizarre activity occurring inside her mother's home. At the center of it all were her younger brothers. Whenever the boys stayed at that house, they would regularly sleepwalk through the night. But here's where things take a darker turn. During these episodes, they would carry on conversations with someone who simply wasn't there, an unseen figure they referred to as the Top Hat Man, or Walter.
It's a person. It's Walter. It's a person. It's a guy. Walter is here. He never gets Walter. Walter is not gonna get Walter. Just go.
You can clearly see the boy addressing someone he calls Walter directly. It might be easy to dismiss this as typical sleep talking, but Cecilia says both brothers independently described encountering the very same presence during their episodes. Even more unsettling, these incidents occurred exclusively at their mother's house, nowhere else. After watching this unfold again and again, she began to seriously wonder whether something inside that home was actually making contact with them. Eventually, she took it upon herself to try reaching out to whatever might be lurking there, and here's what her camera recorded.
The doors.
Go sit down.
Okay, so you know we're staying. Can you please shut the doors?
Kind of show it so you can see that it sees. Oh
yeah.
They're shutting.
There it goes. Here.
Show it so nobody can everybody can see that.
Oh wow, nice job. That's really good.
Actually, I don't think it's slamming.
Guys, look, you basically
Wait, show it
shut
like this so you can see that nobody's pushing the door or something.
It's okay. Can you try opening the doors? If it's too hard, we can help you. Yeah. I'm gonna give you a second to try opening them. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a little push right here. That's good. Now, can you please open them?
Or shut them.
That might have been a little hard right there.
They're a little open.
No, and also I feel like they would stick together. That'd be hard to do it. Can you push it open? I smell really badly. I'm sweating so much. Me too.
Me too. Oh, shut it.
Oh, awesome job. I feel like this will be easier to open now.
So can you try opening it? Oh my god, this is the most activity I've ever actually seen because my mom was always the one that saw the activity happening.
Can you please try pushing the doors open instead of shutting them? Wow, nice job. That's really impressive. Oh, is it? Oh, never mind. That was just. Okay. Wait.
It's shutting them. Good job. Try keeping one open. Okay.
Oh, nice job. Okay, guys, let's go downstairs.
That experience left her convinced that what her brothers were encountering during those sleepwalking episodes might have been very real. She went on to post additional footage of the family attempting to communicate with whatever presence they believed was sharing the house with them.
Video. So we got flashlights today, my little Ghostbusters. Can you turn the flashlight? There it is. Are you the same little boy that was here the other night? Turn the flashlight off if you are. Are you 6 years old? Can you turn the flashlight on if you're 6? Or was he 7?
He was 6.
He was 6. Okay, turn. Oh. Were you here the other night?
Is it on?
Yeah. Yep. We had to go to Ace Hardware and get our flashlights.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Keep the light on if you like me.
She later noted that all of this footage was captured several years prior. The family has since relocated to a new home, but the story doesn't necessarily end there. Cecilia claims they recently brought in a psychic to walk through their new place, and what that psychic told them was unsettling. Whatever had been in the old house may have made the move with them. More specifically, the psychic said the entity appeared to be attached to the younger brothers and tended to linger somewhere in the basement. That said, Cecilia hasn't posted anything suggesting paranormal activity has occurred at the new house, so whether anything strange is still going on remains an open question. But what's your take on all of this? Was their mother's home genuinely haunted, or is there a more rational explanation? Drop your thoughts below. During his time as an amateur photographer, visiting the legendary Paris catacombs had been on his list for nearly 18 years. As he made his way through the winding, poorly lit tunnels, he paused periodically to snap some photos. At one point, he found himself near a stretch of pitch-black passageway that was blocked off behind a gate, and it wasn't until he reviewed his shots later that his stomach dropped, because something was staring back at him from the darkness. There at the far end of the restricted tunnel, barely visible against the black, was what looked like a woman dressed head to toe in white, with something draped down along her back. What makes it especially unsettling is that he has no memory of anyone else being in that area when he took the shot. The finer details are impossible to make out. Her face is entirely hidden, and the only thing you can really distinguish is that long white garment she appears to be wearing. And if that image alone isn't enough to get under your skin, just remember the context. This was captured deep inside the Paris catacombs, where the remains of hundreds of thousands of people are stacked along the walls just feet away. Some people in the comments suggested the figure could have been a tourist who wandered past the restricted barrier, but according to him, that tunnel was completely deserted when he pressed the shutter. Whatever is going on here, the Paris catacombs have officially earned their spot on my ever-growing list of places where you will absolutely not catch me setting foot. One night, a TikTok user decided to film a series of disturbing occurrences in his house after hearing strange sounds he couldn't account for. Initially, everything looked completely normal as he moved slowly from room to room with his phone, attempting to show that nothing out of the ordinary was going on. Then a soft knocking began to echo from somewhere within the walls. Here's what his camera picked up. The sound faded, only to start up again moments later, this time appearing to come from an entirely different part of the house. As he stood motionless and listened, a deeply unsettling growl suddenly rose up from just outside. Turn up your volume for this one. It was far too bizarre to belong to any dog or recognizable creature, and before he even had a chance to process it, a nearby door flew shut with a violent bang that sent him scrambling in a panic. The footage cut out shortly after as he fled the scene. Nobody has been able to offer a satisfying explanation since. Some moments catch you completely off guard inside spaces you know better than anywhere else in the world. And what this man discovered in his own bedroom is precisely that kind of experience. Something that had no right to be there, sitting in full view, in a room familiar enough that he clocked immediately something was deeply off.
Watch this. The light's on in the living room. Okay. I turn it off. Watch what happens. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There's a silhouette right in front of me.
The silhouette materialized in his room with enough presence to stop him dead the instant his brain processed what his eyes were actually seeing. It wasn't a shadow thrown by a piece of furniture, not the vague outline of a jacket draped over a door, not anything the normal contents of that room could plausibly produce under any arrangement of light, angle, or circumstance, no matter how many alternative explanations he tried to construct in his head. This was a shape with nothing behind it, no identifiable source he could simply approach and confirm with a touch or a look, no straightforward answer that the room itself seemed prepared to give him, and yet he kept searching. Almost on instinct, he pulled out his camera and began documenting it, moving deliberately through the space to establish, one by one, that nothing in the vicinity could reasonably be responsible for what he was capturing. He went through the corners, the furniture, the light sources, every fixture and surface that might conceivably throw such a shape under the right conditions, and yet the deeper he looked, the more completely the room refused to hand him anything useful. Every rational theory he entertained collapsed the moment he held it up against what was actually in front of him. The silhouette didn't shift, didn't waver, didn't shrink under scrutiny. It just held its position with a stillness that no amount of logical reasoning could chip away at.
I turn the light back on. There's nothing there. So where the hell is that shadow coming from?
The shape carried the unmistakable definition and weight of something standing right there alongside him, and there was simply nothing present to account for it. Whatever was casting that shadow, it didn't belong to anything he owned. Our next segment follows an investigator named Ala Gwenem as he ventures through the crumbling remains of a derelict psychiatric facility in Jordan. The institution ran throughout the 1990s before being shut down in 2000 after widespread reports emerged of brutal mistreatment, abusive staff, and patients being deliberately starved. There's a belief that extreme human suffering leaves an invisible mark on a place, and as Allah makes his way down the corridor, the building appears to stir to life. See what unfolds.
محمد لا إله هم يبون يا أخي شنو شو اللي قاعد يصير شو اللي قاعد يصير شو اللي قاعد يصير شو اللي قاعد يصير هنا
The mood changes in an instant. This isn't simply loose dust drifting down. Solid debris is being knocked free from the ceiling, and at one point, a falling object actually hits him directly on the head. But things escalate even further once he steps into what used to be the patient intake area. Here's what his camera caught.
أبو محمد أبو محمد أبو محمد أبو محمد أبو محمد لا 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 شو اللي قاعد يصير هنا أبو محمد الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. أبو محمد.
By every law of physics, a heavy object leaning at that angle against a wall should remain exactly where it is. Gravity alone should be keeping it in place. Yet we watch it begin to move. It sways back and forth as though something is gauging its weight, and then it's thrown violently to the ground. No stray breeze has the force to send a solid wooden door crashing like that. So what are we really looking at here? An old building playing tricks with airflow, or the tormented souls of its former patients still seething with rage toward the living? This next clip was originally posted to TikTok on March 3rd, 2020, by a brother and sister named Josh and Crystal. The two were spending the night at a hotel when something occurred that left them both completely at a loss for words. Whatever unfolded inside that room that day has reportedly haunted them ever since.
I can see you. Come to me. Are you a little boy? It's okay. Come here. It's okay. I don't know if my eyes are playing tricks on me, but it looks like it's going like back and forth. You see movie?
To say they were rattled would be an understatement. What appears to be a full-body shadow in the shape of a young child seems to step out from the bathroom doorway, while Josh and Crystal had their camera rolling. Something they assumed was outside the room may have actually been standing right there with them.
No, you come back. Go straight, look straight towards me. No.
The silhouette of what they believed to be a little boy defied any rational explanation they could come up with. So what do you think was really on May 21st, 2019? A YouTube channel going by the name Anki posted footage of a security guard having an experience that probably stuck with him well beyond the end of his shift. He's making his way through the Weymouth public house in the UK, conducting what appears to be a standard patrol. The atmosphere is calm, and nothing seems out of the ordinary as he moves through the dimly lit corridors. But the moment he heads down into the cellar, everything changes.
Hell. Jesus Christ. Hey! Okay, let's get out of here.
He stops and sweeps the room slowly with his flashlight. A few seconds pass without incident. Then, out of nowhere, a large wooden plank that had been propped against the wall comes crashing violently down onto the floor, with no apparent cause. The noise reverberates through the cellar, and the guard's reaction is immediate. He's visibly rattled. Shortly after, he makes the decision to get out of there. There don't appear to be any open windows in the vicinity, and nothing at first glance suggests strings or any kind of staged setup. For many viewers, it looks like something invisible deliberately knocked the plank over, as though a presence was announcing itself. That said, it's entirely possible the plank was just poorly balanced to begin with. Older structures shift and settle over the years, and minor vibrations, from footsteps, foundation movement, or even fluctuating temperatures, can send an unstable object toppling with no warning whatsoever. Still, the timing is what gets under your skin. The guard walks in, comes to a stop, and then it goes down. Whether that's just physics choosing the worst possible moment to catch up, or something unseen responding to his arrival, It's the kind of thing that would unnerve just about anyone alone in the dark. Picture this. You're alone behind the wheel, cruising down an empty road in the dead of night. No buildings, no streetlights, nothing. When your headlights land on a small child standing right in the middle of the road. For a lot of people, the mind would instantly jump to something supernatural. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and actually look at what was recorded. The obvious first thought is that you're looking at some kind of apparition, and the driver clearly felt the same way, throwing the car into reverse almost immediately. Still, a lot of people online took issue with that call, because right at that moment the child appears to be crying out, as though desperately seeking help. Did you catch that? That one detail is what set off a massive argument across the internet. After rewatching the footage multiple times, some viewers are firmly convinced this is simply a real child, abandoned or left behind in the middle of nowhere, frantically trying to get someone's attention. Others aren't so sure and believe it might be a ghost, or perhaps some kind of entity that takes on the form of a child to draw in unsuspecting people by triggering their protective instincts. But there's a third theory that surfaced as well. One that's far more grounded in reality and somehow just as chilling. Certain people have pointed out that criminal organizations have been known to use children as bait, placing them in the road to force drivers to stop before the trap is sprung. This unsettling and hard to explain footage was captured by a security camera positioned at the entrance of a church back in 2021. Late that night, staff members were alerted by the building's alarm system, which is designed to go off whenever an intruder or unauthorized person gets near or enters the premises. They rushed over to check it out and discovered that the front door had been opened, yet the building was completely empty inside. From there, they pulled up the security camera recording, eager to identify whoever had come through that door. What they found instead was something deeply disturbing that nobody could make sense of. Here's what the camera actually captured.
E ela pega certinho, isso.
Rapaz.
Olha lá, nem entra nem sai.
Without any warning, the door swung open on its own, and as it slowly moved aside, a faint, semi-transparent shape could be seen gliding into the church. Not long after, that same figure materialized once more as it made its way back out, and the moment it left, the door shut itself behind it. The staff were left completely stunned and shaken after watching that shape let itself in and wander through their church. To this day, they still can't account for what it was, so we're leaving it up to you. What do you think you were looking at just now? A man from Pakistan named Abdullah has reportedly gone through several unsettling incidents over the past few months, with deeply strange events unfolding inside his home. Late one night, while he lies asleep, things take a very disturbing turn.
Kौन? अब्बा अपना नाम बताओ पहले मुझे अपना नाम मेरा नाम अब्दुल्ला अपना नाम बताओ तुम्हारा अब्दुल्ला मैं हूं तुम नहीं हो
नहीं खोलना मैंने. ओके मुझे आयतुल कुर्सी आती है. मैं आयतुल कुर्सी पढ़ना स्टार्ट कर दूंगा. निकल जाओ यहां से. आओ अंदर आओ. आओ आओ अंदर आओ. जो भी हो. मगर मेरी एक बात याद रखना. जहां से भी तुमने जो भी करना तुम.
Something appears to beckon Abdullah toward his door, claiming to be none other than himself. Abdullah suspects it could be a jinn or some kind of shapeshifter, since these supernatural beings are widely believed to mimic people in order to deceive them. When he finally opens the door, something seems to slip inside, as a poster hanging on the wall suddenly drops to the ground. Abdullah is convinced a jinn may have latched onto him, and that opening that door was a grave error. Determined to show others what he's been dealing with, Abdullah attempts to capture the phenomenon during a live stream.
And I thought I should just come live because some people just don't believe this thing.
Unfortunately, nothing unusual occurs. Then weeks down the line, the mysterious visitor returns, and this time Abdullah is absolutely beside himself with fear.
नहीं खोलना. لا لا إله إلا هو الحكيم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم لا هو في السماوات وما بين أيديهم ما ألفهم ولا يجدون لما شاب से कुर्सी उस माची रस ले खुद उस मामा होने ले जीवन स्वामी. तो मुझे क्या है? तुम्हें भूख लगी या खाना खाओ. मेरे पीछे तंग मत करो. मैंने नहीं खोलना इसे.
Visibly shaken, he stumbles through a recitation of a verse from the Quran, but rather than helping, it only seems to escalate the situation. He throws the door open and finds nothing there. Following this most recent strange encounter, Abdullah says the activity has completely stopped. So is this a jinn tormenting him? Or could the whole thing be an elaborate setup? That's for you to judge. TikTok user going by Rebecca posted a clip that was originally filmed by her mom during a hiking trip. Rebecca explains that her mother stumbled upon a large estate called the Murphy House. Thinking the place might be abandoned, she pulled out her phone and started recording as she walked by. For the most part, things look completely unremarkable.
Deserted, but it must have been gorgeous in its stay. Absolutely, I could just imagine walking around here in some fancy dress or something and just amazing.
But somewhere around the 22-second mark, if you direct your attention to the very last window on the top floor, you can make out what looks like the face of a child peering out from within. The person filming had no idea at the time, meaning this detail only came to light later when the footage was being reviewed. It's a fleeting moment, yet the face is clear enough to leave you genuinely unsettled about whether something or someone had been watching the whole time. Now, there is a rational explanation worth considering. If nothing supernatural is going on here, it could just be a real child standing near the window and gazing outside. Given the distance and the resolution of the camera, it's entirely plausible that a normal face could take on a strangely pale and eerie appearance. Sadly, very little is known about the history of the Murphy house, and there's no word on whether anyone went back to check the property out, so the whole thing remains a mystery with no clean answers. So what's your take on what was peering down from that upper floor window? Just a person inside going about their day? Or did the camera catch something far harder to explain? A man named Grigo was recording a calm, relaxing swim in a river, anticipating nothing more interesting than the surrounding landscape. When the footage begins, the far bank of the river looks completely clear, Then something unexpected appears. See for yourself.
Sin problema. Sin miedo ni nada.
Over on the other side of the water, a towering figure stood completely still. Grigo had no idea it was there while he was filming, and the sheer distance made it impossible to determine what it actually was. The following video was recorded by a woman named Carrie Ann, who was out on a horseback ride near Mount Shasta in Northern California with her friend Jordan, when the two of them stumbled onto something neither of them could immediately explain. It was dusk, the kind of low blue evening light that makes everything feel slightly off, and at some point during the ride they began hearing it. A loud, layered, almost ethereal sound rising up from the ground around them, like a chorus of electronic voices humming all at once. Carrie Ann pulled out her phone and started recording.
Jordan and I went on a ride, and we just came across this noise that we heard. We're going up this hill, and you can hear it in the background. I'm gonna show you. It's a little freaking creepy. Hold on. It's creepy. There's a mountain. And look at, there is another 100 of them out there, but it's like this Lemurian beacon system. I have no idea. Somebody put a lot of effort into this. Come on. This is insane. I guess they're solar powered. This one actually makes sense. The other ones are just white noise. All right, well, we're getting out of here. Stat. Jordan left me.
Mount Shasta has carried that legend for over a century, the belief that a hidden underground city called Telos exists beneath the mountain, the last refuge of the ancient Lemurians, a civilization said to have survived the sinking of their continent thousands of years ago. Whether the strange sounds are connected to this history or not, this is the exact folklore this place is famous for. The next day, the two of them went back in full daylight to get a better look. Watch.
Where is that coming from? It's like it's way over there, but it's also right here. Oh my God. Oh. Oh my God. This is straight apocalyptic. Somebody is summoning something here. What is happening? What is happening right now? Okay, no. Pretty sure Jordan and I just stumbled across a live Lemurian conference call. Sorry for interrupting.
Mount Shasta for you.
I am sitting here freaking out because I thought this bag of trash was talking to me, and everything you were saying was coming over the Bluetooth speaker in my bag.
Oh my God.
I'm like, the trash bag is talking to me now.
Oh, my phone is still connected.
Your phone is connected. I had to piss my pants going, we gotta go because the trash is talking to us.
Oh boy.
In other words, actually, let's go.
Okay.
I'm over it. We just found another one. Way up the mountain. Something about salvation.
Now it's sunny, clear skies, and the hillside reveals something even stranger in the light. Not just a random scatter of devices, but long, serpentine lines of them, running up the slope in deliberate formations. Jordan laughs and says, "Mata Shasta for you," like this is somehow a completely reasonable thing to find on a trail. And she's not entirely wrong. The mountain attracts this kind of thing. But there's a second reveal, buried in this clip, that makes the whole thing even funnier. Carrie Ann realizes mid-video that the disembodied voices she'd been hearing the night before, the ones that had her genuinely convinced she was picking up something supernatural, were coming from her own Bluetooth speaker, playing from inside her saddlebag. She'd been terrifying herself with her own phone. Still, that explanation only covers the voices. It doesn't cover the hundreds of devices, or whoever placed them there, or why. So Carrie Ann went back a third time, this time determined to figure out the source. Listen closely.
All right, boys and girls, we are going back and we're going to get to the bottom of this. Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, shit.
Who are the representatives of God for our spiritual elevation. We humbly worship, praise, thank, obey, and love God Almighty, the Most High, the greatest, for world beacon, world peace, and our soul liberation. We thank, love, praise the only Son of God, who is the ultimate master.
She finds the original packaging in a cardboard box on the hillside, product boxes printed in Chinese, featuring lotus flower and dragonfly illustrations, and when she holds one of the speakers up, you can hear it broadcasting a Buddhist chant, Namo Amituofo, a traditional chant to Amitabha Buddha, repeating from the solar panel on the device. She eventually tracks the product down to an Etsy listing, Vajrayana Mahayana Prayer Mantra Chanting Box, solar powered, sold by a seller called Lama Noriha for around $51 each. Whoever planted them went to significant expense and effort, spreading what appears to be hundreds of solar-powered prayer chanting boxes across a remote mountain trail in deliberate arrangements, left to broadcast Buddhist mantras and spiritual prayers into the open air around one of the most spiritually charged landscapes in North America. Some people in the comments found it beautiful, a kind of open-air devotional installation, broadcasting prayers for world peace at the foot of a sacred mountain. Others found it deeply unsettling, especially given how genuinely frightening the sound was at dusk. I'll let you decide which side of that you land on, but what nobody's been able to answer is who put them there, when, and whether they're planning to come back and add more. In this next clip, a man films himself indoors, speaking directly into his phone in Spanish, clearly shaken. He explains that the day before, he'd visited one of the lagoons of Chilca, a coastal area outside Lima, Peru, long associated with strange energy and unexplained occurrences, and that something happened there he couldn't explain. He's practically begging his viewers to help him figure out what he encountered. Then the footage cuts. Watch. The camera shifts to a nighttime outdoor scene, pointing down at a turquoise-painted wall covered in dark, smeared markings that resemble three-toed footprints or handprints. Then, at the very end, a large, dark hand with long, sharp claws suddenly grabs the corner of that wall from off-screen, textured, scaly, and unmistakably not human. Some viewers immediately called it a staged prop, pointing to the sound effect that drops right on cue. Others aren't so sure, because if you look at those markings on the wall before the hand appears, they were already there. So what exactly left them? Now in this next clip, someone is lying in bed in what looks like a motel room, filming from under the covers in a dimly lit space, and they've been awake for 3 days straight. That detail matters, because what they're about to capture puts everything in question. Watch. Standing beside the door appears to be a dark figure draped in what looks like a black cloth. What stands out most is the face, a pale. The figure doesn't appear to move. It simply remains there, watching from the corner of the room. At first, she assumes sleep deprivation is playing tricks on her mind. After 3 days without sleep, visual hallucinations are well documented and can become remarkably vivid, often involving shadowy figures or people standing in doorways. That alone would be a reasonable explanation. But then she reviews the recording. The figure appears to have been captured on camera as well. That detail is what convinced her she wasn't imagining it. Those who favor a paranormal explanation compare it to reports of shadow figures, particularly the subtype often described as cloaked or hooded apparitions. Dark, human-shaped forms with unusually pale or featureless faces that witnesses claim to encounter during the night. Whether the camera captured an ordinary object distorted by darkness, or whether her exhaustion simply caused her to notice something that had been there all along. The fact that the same figure appeared both to her eyes and through the camera lens is what continues to fuel the debate. Now, in this next clip, 2 men are filming outdoors at night along a dark dirt road somewhere in a Spanish-speaking country. The scene lit only by a single off-camera light casting a sickly greenish-yellow glow over the tree line. For a few seconds, everything is still, just shadows and shaky camera work, and a nervous exchange of words between them. Then something steps out of the foliage. Watch.
Ya fue, macho. Vamos, vámonos acá. Macho, mira, se está viniendo para acá. Está cruzando la calle, macho. Se fue.
A small bipedal figure with a disproportionately large head hobbles across the dirt path from left to right, and the men immediately lose their composure. One shouting that it's crossing the street, heading toward them, before the camera jerks violently and cuts to black. What they're calling it in the audio is a duende, a term rooted in Spanish and Latin American folklore referring to a small goblin-like spirit, sometimes mischievous, sometimes deeply unsettling, said to appear near roads and wooded areas at night. You can hear the panic in their voices shift the moment the figure turns in their direction. Skeptics point to the poor video quality and suggest it could be a child or someone in costume, but that hobbling gait and oversized silhouette are genuinely difficult to explain away. What do you think was crossing that road? This next video was recorded by a man who says the strange activity in his home has been going on for a while. But on this particular night, things took a turn he wasn't quite ready for. It's 4:53 in the morning. He's downstairs alone, his family asleep upstairs, and he's got a cause light in his hand when the knocking starts coming from his basement door. Slow at first, one knock, then another, then a third, spaced out and deliberate, like something testing to see if he's listening. He points the camera at the door and pans the room briefly, showing the couch, the coffee table, the staircase with the baby gate at the top, and then comes back to the door. He says it himself. This isn't the first time he's heard it. Watch.
Alright. So that right there is my basement door, right? I'm downstairs by myself. It's like 4:53 in the morning.
and I just started hearing that. I have no fucking idea what it is, but I'm down here by myself. Everybody's sleeping, just me. Ain't the first time I heard this shit either.
What makes this so unsettling isn't just the sound, it's the escalation. Those early knocks are almost calm, then they turn into a rapid, frantic drumming, the kind that doesn't sound like a pipe settling or an animal scratching, and then the bangs, 3 of them, each one louder than the last, hitting the door with a force that feels deliberate, almost impatient. He's not performing fear either. His expression is more confused than theatrical, like a man who genuinely doesn't know what to do next. Some people in the comments pointed to territorial behavior, the idea that whatever is making that sound is asserting itself, warning him rather than inviting him. Others suggested a more specific framework, comparing it to what some paranormal researchers call threshold phenomena, where entities are believed to be bound by certain boundaries and use sound to demand entry rather than simply passing through. Skeptics will point out a person hiding on the other side with nothing better to do at 5 a.m., but his tone, flat, tired, almost resigned doesn't read like someone in on the joke. The activity didn't stop there. The following night, or at least another night in the same house, he was sitting in that same room when the knocking started up again, this time from the wall beside the downstairs bathroom. He says he'd been hearing it regularly at that point, tapping on the bathroom door, sounds from the wall, the same pattern repeating itself. He started recording to see if anything else would happen. Watch.
Alright, so I was hearing that knocking again, right? Except this time it's coming from that wall right there, which is my downstairs bathroom. And after a while, I started hearing tapping on the bathroom door as well. So, what else? Record. See if anything else happens. I mean, I hear the shit every night. It's... fuck? Okay, that's never happened before. Now I have to go check it out, otherwise you guys are going to be like, oh, it's probably somebody in there. Let's go see. I'll show you guys right now. Ain't nobody in this motherfucker right here. And it is empty. Yeah, no, that one was weird. That's never actually happened before. That's new, at least.
When he posted the footage online, most people focused on what they claimed to hear at the very end, a faint hissing sound that many missed the first time until they replayed it with headphones. Clay didn't think much of it at first, until viewers started asking about where he lives. When he told them he's in South Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the reaction changed. People in the comments claimed the area has a history of old houses with dark pasts, and that South Milwaukee in particular has more than its share of hauntings. This place is tied to several local stories, but there's one in particular about a man who disappeared in the 1950s, last seen walking into a house on Clay Street. Now, if whatever is in that house just crossed from making noise to moving things, the question worth asking is, what comes after that? The following video was recorded inside a small frozen yogurt shop sometime after closing by a man who'd been dealing with unexplained activity in the building for a while. Flickering lights, strange sounds, the kind of persistent low-level strangeness that you can almost convince yourself to ignore until you can't anymore. On this particular night, he and a woman he works with were still inside after hours trying to retrieve her keys from the back room, and he decided to pull his phone out and film what was happening. He mentions, almost in disbelief, that the lights had already started flickering again, and this wasn't the first time.
Okay guys, we were literally just about to leave my store when shit just started flickering again. This is the second time it's happened. My car's over there, and...
I'm shaking right now.
Okay. And her keys are in the bag.
We need to go. We need to go get my keys.
And the light turned on.
I don't want to go.
Okay, well, I'm gonna literally record this whole thing just so you guys can see what happened. I'm literally so scared. Okay, okay, something. The bathroom light's on too.
Bro, why are my keys on the floor?
them on the desk. Like, oh my god. What the hell?
This is literally insane.
The crash erupts out of nowhere from somewhere deeper in the building. No visible source, no explanation, and what follows is pure chaos. Both of them sprinting toward the back office in a full panic. But then they find her keys lying on the floor. She's insistent that she left them on the desk, and the man confirms he didn't see them there either. That alone is unsettling. Displaced objects are one of the most commonly reported signs of poltergeist-type activity. The kind of presence that doesn't just make noise, but physically interacts with the environment, moving things deliberately, as if to be noticed. Then, it got worse. The second clip picks up shortly after, with the two of them still inside, watching the security monitors in the back office while the cameras around the store continue to flicker. They decide they need to leave. They're already nearly an hour past closing. And as they make their way toward the exit, something comes flying out of the darkness right past the camera. Watch.
Okay guys, we've been sitting in the back for like 20 minutes now, and we're just watching the cameras, and stuff is still flickering and going on, but nothing happened back here, and we need to go home, and this is so freaking terrifying.
We're 50 minutes past our shift because of this shit.
We closed at 10, so we need to like... It's so dark because all the light switches are over here.
Stop it! Stop it! Oh, fuck.
Okay, this is what I mean. This room is over. This is...
Oh my god.
This is what we're dealing with.
Oh my god, yo, what the Bro, Nick, did you this on purpose?
No,
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, Nick.
Stop! You're literally... Are you...
No, wait, no. Nah.
No. We literally looked away for like 2 seconds.
You can see it cut through the frame before clattering off screen, and both of them bolt straight for the door. The nervous laughter outside is the kind that comes when you're too shaken to process what just happened any other way. But the most unsettling detail comes when he turns the camera back through the glass front door. 2 metal chairs that were upright moments earlier are now tipped over on the floor, and neither of them touched them. He says he only looked away for a few seconds. Poltergeist cases like this one tend to follow a pattern where the activity doesn't just repeat, it escalates, becoming more physical and more direct over time, as though whatever is present is testing how much it can do before someone finally leaves. He says he's planning to do an overnight stay to try to make contact. What do you think will happen if he does? This next video was recorded inside a family home using 2 mounted security cameras, one in a bedroom, one in the dining room, and the footage spans 2 separate dates in February of 2026, both captured in the early hours of the morning. In the bedroom clip, recorded just after 2 a.m., an older woman, a younger woman, and a child are all asleep, completely still. Nothing in the room is moving. Listen closely. A quiet, disembodied male-sounding voice is heard whispering a name, Naneng, into a room where everyone is asleep. Then in the dining room, footage recorded just after 5 a.m., the same kind of voice speaks again in an empty room, saying the name Len. seconds before a teenage girl walks out of a hallway door on her own, and back in the bedroom, at the exact same timestamp, the voice speaks once more, this time with what sounds like a questioning inflection, calling out while the entire family remains completely unconscious. So if you listen carefully, something is calling their names, and not one of them heard it. Now in this next clip, a man is walking through a large concrete drainage tunnel, the kind covered in graffiti, with a shallow stream running along the floor, when something in the darkness ahead stops him cold. He'd gone in alone, recording on his phone, moving through the echoing pipe with nothing but the ambient glow of his camera lighting the way. The tunnel stretched ahead of him, dark and narrow, and for a moment everything seemed quiet. Then, at around the 15-second mark, a sharp metallic clicking sound echoes out from somewhere deep in the darkness. He stops walking. He calls out, "Watch."
What the hell? Hello?
What answers him back isn't a person. A low, guttural sound, somewhere between a growl and a distorted whisper, rolls back through the tunnel in response to his voice. And then, as his eyes adjust to the darkness, you can make out the shape standing at the far end. Tall, impossibly thin, 2 points of white light where the eyes should be. The enhanced replay at the end makes it even harder to dismiss. The figure's limbs are long and spindly, its skin pale and gaunt, and it stands completely motionless right up until the moment it lunges and lets out a sustained, piercing shriek that sounds nothing like a human being. He runs. A lot of viewers immediately called it a crawler, a modern internet label for pale, thin, humanoid figures, reported in isolated tunnels and underground spaces, usually described by their unnatural proportions and the way they move. Others think the glowing eyes point to something else entirely, something that doesn't fit neatly into any category. Skeptics argue it could be a person with a torch, but that explanation gets harder to hold onto when you hear what came out of that tunnel. So what exactly was standing in the dark, waiting? The following video was recorded inside a 1920s home during the daytime, which, honestly, makes it harder to dismiss than most. The man filming had been upstairs watching TV when he heard a banging sound coming from the living room below. He says there's nobody else in the house, as he makes his way down the stairs and through the hallway, past taxidermy, Venetian masks, old framed pictures, and a crucifix on the wall. He mentions that some of his haunted objects from a previous home are now kept here, though nothing has ever happened with them. He calls out into the empty rooms, no response, just the steady ticking of a grandfather clock and the feeling that something is waiting. Watch.
It's banging in the living living room. There's nobody else in the house. I've just been upstairs watching TV. Some of my old haunted objects from the old house are in here, but nothing's ever happened. Hello? Hello? Oh! Whoa! Shit. Oh my god. What? What the hell? Whoa. I'm not staying in there. Oh my god. Oh, it's even colder in here. What is that noise? Hello? Oh my god. Well, it looks like my objects are back at it again, doesn't it? What the hell? What the hell now? I am getting out of here. What the hell?
Two events hit almost back to back. A taxidermy bird on the fireplace mantel flaps its wings suddenly, then the door slams shut on its own with a heavy metallic crash. Then in the dining room, a chair is violently thrown backward across the floor. He screams. He's done. If you look at how quickly these events escalate, bird, door, chair, all within about a minute, it fits a pattern that paranormal researchers often describe as poltergeist behavior, where physical objects are moved or thrown with what seems like deliberate escalating force. The term poltergeist comes from the German for noisy ghost, and what makes these cases distinct is the physical aggression, not just shadows or sounds, but objects acting against gravity. Skeptics will say the taxidermy bird could be mechanical, that the door and chair could be rigged, but his reaction, the shaky hands, the swearing, the decision to just leave, that's difficult to fake convincingly. He even notes a second chair had shifted by the time he looked back. So what set it all off? Now in this next clip, a man is filming inside his home just 3 days after losing his brother Chris. And what you're about to witness isn't terrifying, so much as it is deeply unsettling in a quiet, personal way. He's moving through a dimly lit room at night, emotional but calm, speaking directly to his brother's presence as if Chris might actually be listening. At one point, he stops the camera on a child's plastic toy kitchen set sitting against the wall, green and white, completely still. He asks softly, "Is that you, Chris? Do it again. Watch."
That's you, Chris. Do it again. I feel your presence, bro. I feel your presence. Do it again. Holy shitballs.
What did I miss?
The burner on the toy stove lights up with a flashing red glow and emits an electronic sizzling sound. Then, after it goes quiet, he says it again. Do it again, and the toy activates a second time, this time playing a completely different sound sequence. Many people who've experienced grief report moments exactly like this one, where an object associated with family or routine seems to respond at just the right moment. Others think the timing is too precise to dismiss. You decide. This next video was recorded inside a cluttered garage, filmed by a man who had been about to lock up for the night when something stopped him. He claims that just before he started recording, he heard a laugh coming from the back of the garage. Not a voice, not a knock, but a laugh. And he describes it as the most unnerving, weird laugh he's ever heard, seeming to come from somewhere near one of the riding mowers. So instead of leaving, he pulled out his phone and started moving through the space, sweeping the light across the concrete floor, the shelves, the equipment, trying to find any explanation for what he'd just heard. He hadn't found anything yet. Watch.
Alright, so I was just closing this up. Like just locking it up to head out. And I closed the bay and I was closing this door. I shut the lights off, getting ready to close this door, and heard, I swear, I heard a laugh. And it was the most unnerving, and it was such a weird laugh. It sounded like it was coming from that back mower, like something was sitting on that back mower. I should have just left. I should have left it alone. I don't even know what that was, where it came from, where it went. But I'm not sticking around to find out, so I'm out of here. Screw this. I'm out of here. I am not sticking around.
A sudden, sharp metallic crash explodes off-screen with enough force to make him physically flinch, and when he swings the light toward the source, there's nothing there. No fallen object, no obvious cause, nothing on the floor that wasn't there before. His voice afterward is shaky, and you can hear him repeating that he should have just left, that he doesn't know where the sound came from or where it went. Some think residual energy in cluttered, closed-off spaces can build tension and release it violently, almost like pressure, finding an outlet. And the laugh he heard before he even started filming, that detail is hard to shake. What exactly was waiting for him in that garage? This next clip was recorded by a woman at night, sitting in her car, describing something she'd witnessed inside her home. And what makes it so hard to dismiss is the detail she kept coming back to. She explains that on the same day she played Surah al-Baqarah, one of the most protective recitations in Islamic tradition, through the house, she passed by her children's room and noticed one of the toys doing something she couldn't explain. Her daughter's Peppa Pig stuffed toy lying on the bed. Watch.
I put Baqarah on my house. That same day, I am like just passing by my kid's room, and basically I see one of the toys doing this. Now, when I first sight, I thought, are you really seeing things? Because ain't no way that thing is moving its eyes. There is no way it's moving its eyes. Does that make sense? No, it does not. This is your child's little toy that they always love and sleep with. My daughter loves it. That thing is her life, okay? My daughter and that monkey chump are the same. She loves that little toy. So I'm like, ain't no way. It has to be my eyes. So I'm looking at it. My son comes. He's also looking at it. Both of us are like looking at each other. We're like, oh, I don't know. Let's use the camera. And then we use the camera and we see for our eyes. First time in real life, this toy was moving its eyes. What could it be? What do you guys think it is? Do you think it's jinn?
If you look closely, the toy's plastic eye slowly rotates upward, turning, according to her, to look directly at the camera. She says she thought her eyes were playing tricks on her at first, so she called her son over, and both of them stood there watching it together before deciding to film it. Many in the Muslim community watching this immediately pointed to jinn, supernatural beings described in Islamic tradition as created from smokeless fire, capable of inhabiting objects, invisible to the naked eye, but very much present. Jinn aren't considered innately evil, but certain ones are believed to attach to children's belongings specifically. She ends the clip asking the audience the same question she still can't answer herself. What do you think it is? The following video was recorded somewhere beneath what appears to be an abandoned industrial building. No voices, no footsteps, no sound at all. Just the slow drift of the lens through deep shadow, past a low brick wall, and down a long corridor, toward a faint greenish light in the far distance. Nothing seemed out of place at first. Watch.
Is your name Leroy? Dude, I just heard something from like another room. I heard something back that way. Dude, you hear that talk? Did you hear that? I hear a man's voice. Somebody might call us here, dude. Ooh, what was that? Ooh, what was that?
There, between two of the support pillars, a tall, slender shape stands completely still, dark, undefined, blending almost entirely into the surrounding blackness. If you look closely, you'll notice it has a distinctly humanoid silhouette, but no discernible features whatsoever. Some viewers think it's a shadow person, a type of entity described across dozens of independent accounts as a tall, featureless, dark presence that appears briefly and then simply vanishes. Others think it's pareidolia, the brain forcing a human shape out of low-light geometry, and the footage is ambiguous enough that neither explanation fully wins. Now, in this next clip, a demolition crew in Adelaide, South Australia, was tearing down the old Royal Adelaide Hospital when one of them started noticing things that didn't quite fit the job. The building had already been stripped back, corridors cluttered with debris bags, walls scarred from demolition work, the kind of place that feels emptied out but somehow not quite vacant. A friend of the filmer was part of the crew and captured this footage on a handheld camera, pointing down one of the dimly lit hallways toward a set of double doors, one of them covered with a semi-transparent plastic sheet. Something behind that plastic catches the eye immediately. Watch.
And there's no cunt behind there, right?
I'm staring there the whole
Yeah, fuck. It's got to be some reason for it, eh?
Yeah, go.
What are all these?
There's no one walking past that door.
Yeah, let's see.
Hey?
No, it's there again, dude. I'm filming it, eh?
Look down.
You alright, mate?
Oh, Kim was right.
Last time I was standing here by myself. Wouldn't you just freak, eh?
Yeah, I did, that's what
I thought it was like someone joking around.
I'm glad it did that.
Oh!
Why is it this above that line?
Can you explain that? There's no one behind there. What the f? Doesn't make any sense, man. And look at all this shit like in the air.
Why were you here for so long before anything happened as well?
Looks like I see an arm going across those.
Behind the sheeting, a dark, amorphous shadow moves from right to left. Subtle, but there. Then a second shape appears, slightly more defined, holding position on the left side of the door. When the man in the full orange hazmat suit walks down the corridor to check what's behind the door, he finds nothing. The room on the other side, according to the footage, was an operating room, and it was empty. What makes this harder to dismiss is that the Royal Adelaide Hospital had been associated with paranormal reports for years before demolition even began, with staff and visitors describing strange shadows and unexplained figures throughout the building. Some believe that spirits tied to places of suffering, death, and trauma don't simply leave when the walls come down, and that the demolition itself may have stirred something. Where do you think they go when the building is finally gone? This next video was recorded inside what appears to be a long, dark hallway at nighttime, a corridor lined with wood-paneled walls and repeating archways that recede deeper and deeper into shadow, the kind of space that already feels wrong before anything happens in it. The artificial overhead lighting casts a warm, yellowish glow along the upper walls, but the far end of the hallway stays completely dark, like whatever's down there isn't meant to be seen. No one filmed this. No one was standing at the other end. Watch. Just beyond the first archway, a faint whitish-grey mist drifts smoothly from right to left across the corridor and vanishes into the shadows in under 2 seconds. Some viewers think it's a dust particle or lens artifact, and with footage this blurred, that's genuinely hard to rule out. Others believe it's something else entirely. What do you think was moving through that hallway? In this next video, a father had been growing increasingly concerned about his young daughter's behavior. At first, it seemed harmless enough. Like many children her age, she would spend long periods talking to someone nobody else could see, pausing as if she were listening to responses, laughing at jokes that no one had told, and occasionally looking toward empty corners of the room as though another child were standing there with her. Naturally, her father assumed it was an imaginary friend, until it stopped being a case of a child talking to something invisible. It became a case of something responding. Watch.
Miren hasta el final. Esto es una cosa muy loca lo que pasa acá, cerca de mi barrio, a la vuelta de mi casa. Bueno, mi hija se ve que tiene un amigo invisible, porque ustedes miren. Váyale, decirle que traiga el coche. Decirle que traiga el coche, decirle. Le dice que traiga el coche.
¡Dale el coche!
No.
In the video, the father challenges the situation directly. He asks his daughter to tell her imaginary friend to move the walker, and it did. One of the oldest paranormal beliefs surrounding children is the idea that they may be more sensitive to things adults no longer notice. Across countless cultures, there are stories claiming that young children can see spirits, entities, or presences that become inaccessible as people grow older. Whether that's folklore, superstition, or something else entirely is impossible to prove, but stories like this continue to fuel the belief. Some viewers suggested the child may have unknowingly formed a connection with a spirit. Others went much further, warning that not everything presenting itself as a child's friend has good intentions. What do you think? The following video was captured by a man doing what appears to be a late-night walkthrough of an empty industrial building. Service corridors, loading bays, the kind of place that feels unsettling even when nothing's happening. He moves through a series of narrow hallways, lit by fluorescent overhead lights, past recycling signs and yellow safety markings, before pushing through a plastic strip curtain into a vast, dimly lit loading dock below. Concrete pillars, orange industrial lights, long shadows stretching across the floor. The space is completely deserted, and from the moment the clip begins, there's already something deeply wrong, because a loud, continuous, high-pitched alarm tone is ringing out through the entire area with no clear origin. He pans the camera across the empty dock, taking in the loading bays and the grimy walls, and you can feel the tension building. Watch.
Oh, shit.
Who's there?
He still hasn't gotten over that scream, and from the look of things, something knew he was there and reacted. Liminal spaces like loading docks and service corridors have developed their own folklore online in recent years. described as places that exist between destinations, spaces no one is supposed to linger in, and that in some accounts are thought to attract residual energy or presences tied to the labor and isolation those spaces carry. The second clip takes that atmosphere even further. The person filming moves through another service corridor in what appears to be the same building, pulling aside a mold-stained plastic curtain before walking slowly down a narrow passage with concrete walls and warm yellow overhead light. Listen closely. If you look at the top right corner, you'll see a humanoid figure hanging. After he shared the footage, many people immediately connected the figure to the scream captured earlier. Some speculated that whatever produced that sound may have been the same presence now appearing in the corridor. Of course, skeptics argue that the figure could be an illusion created by shadows, pipes, hanging material, or the low image quality of the footage. But for those who believe the scream and the figure are connected, that's a difficult explanation to accept. Now in this next clip, a man is working the night shift alone at a dark industrial factory, his first night on the job, when something stops him cold in one of the long corridors. He's moving through the building with a flashlight, checking doors, narrating to himself the way people do when they're trying not to feel uneasy about being completely alone in a space that large. You can hear it in his voice, that thin attempt at casual conversation with no one in particular. He makes his way down a long, empty hallway, concrete floor, exposed beams above, sparse lights doing almost nothing against the dark, and announces out loud that he's there by himself. Watch.
One more door. Yeah, this one's heavy. I'm here, all by myself.
At the far end of the hallway, a figure with long dark hair briefly peeks around the corner, just for a moment. What makes the sighting so unsettling is the timing. The figure appears immediately after he acknowledges that he's alone, almost as though something heard him and decided to respond. Whether that's coincidence or not, it's the detail that viewers keep coming back to. Many people compared the figure to one of the most common apparitions reported in industrial locations and abandoned buildings, the peeking ghost. Unlike full-bodied apparitions that stand openly in view, these sightings are often described as figures that watch from doorways, corners, stairwells, and hallways, revealing only part of themselves before quickly retreating from sight. Factories can be especially fertile ground for stories like these. Decades of accidents, overnight shifts, injuries, and constant human activity often leave behind local legends among workers. In many places, night shift employees pass down stories about figures seen in corridors, shadows standing near machinery, or unexplained encounters that only seem to happen after everyone else has gone home. Now, in this next clip, a man is spending a quiet night at home with his young son, the kind of ordinary evening where the biggest concern should be which action figure wins the fight. But something on the porch keeps pulling his attention back, and when it happens a second time, with his son sitting right there in the room, he doesn't hesitate for a second. Watch.
Se movió la silla. No mames. Hijo. Vente. Salte. ¿Ahí estás, hijo? Sí. Te voy a echarte un ojito, papi. Quiero jugar contigo. Pero se pelean, papi. Sí. Ay, no. A ver. ¿Quién es el superhéroe y quién es el villano? Cuéntame, porque yo no sé.
Mira, este es el superhéroe. Y este es el villano.
No mames. No mames, viste. Vete para acá. Se movió la silla. No mames. Hijo. Vente. Salte. Vámonos. Salte. Mierda. No mames. ¿Qué pedo? Vente, hijo. Vente. Agarra tus cosas. Vámonos de aquí. Vámonos, vete por la casa. Ahorita jugamos acá adentro, ¿sí? Es que se movieron las cosas. Métete, papi. Métete.
A white metal rocking chair on the porch begins moving on its own. No breeze, no one nearby, nothing physically touching it. The man grabs his son and gets him out immediately. Some viewers immediately pointed to a poltergeist-type presence, entities associated with kinetic disturbances, objects moving without contact, often described as being drawn to spaces where children are present. Others weren't ready to go that far, arguing the chair could have been disturbed by uneven flooring or a vibration from inside the house. But if you watch the second movement closely, the chair doesn't drift or wobble. It pushes forward with force, at a moment when the house is otherwise completely still. What's harder to dismiss is the pattern, the same object, the same location, twice in one night, and both times right when the man and his son were nearby. Whether something in that house was reacting to them or simply didn't want them there is a question the father clearly couldn't wait around to answer. In the following video recorded late one night, in France, a man pulls out his phone to film his kitchen because this isn't the first time something strange has happened here, and he wants it on record. Speaking calmly in French, he points out a drawer that's already sitting open on its own, notes that his small black dog is hiding under the dining table, and confirms out loud that he's completely alone. Then he does something that takes either courage or desperation. He asks, directly, for whatever is there to show itself. Watch.
Donc voilà, je refais une vidéo parce que il se passe encore des phénomènes, comme vous pouvez le voir. Il y a le tiroir qui s'est ouvert tout seul. Vous pouvez le constater, je suis tout seul. Il y a juste le chien qui est effrayé en dessous de la table. Sinon, je suis absolument tout seul. Donc, est-ce que vous pouvez vous manifester, s'il vous plaît? Ok. Est-ce que vous pouvez dire ce que... Oh putain, je calme. Je ne vous veux aucun mal. Oh, vache. Ok, je me casse.
The upper cabinet door swings open on its own the moment he finishes asking, as if something actually heard him. Before he can even process it, two metal shakers are violently hurled from near the refrigerator and clatter hard across the linoleum floor. He manages a stunned, okay, starts to ask a follow-up question, and then a pepper grinder crashes off the dining table, followed immediately by an entire wooden chair being knocked backwards onto the floor. You can hear his voice go from measured to genuinely frightened in under 30 seconds. His dog never moved from under the table. What makes this so hard to dismiss is the sequence, not one random event, but 4 separate disturbances in under a minute, each one more forceful than the last. That kind of escalating pattern is what investigators often associate with poltergeist activity, a word that comes from German meaning noisy ghost, typically described not as a traditional spirit, but as a concentrated burst of energy capable of physically interacting with the environment. Some believe it attaches to people rather than places, which would explain why he mentions this isn't even his first video. Others think the moment he issued that invitation, asking it to manifest, he changed the nature of the interaction entirely. Whether that was brave or reckless, only he can say. The following clips come from the same household, and together they paint a picture of something that's been present here for a very long time. During the day, while natural light poured in through the bedroom windows, two young girls set up a camera aimed directly at a set of closed white double doors at the end of the hallway. No one else was in the house, no windows were open, nothing was running nearby that could account for what happened next. The hallway stayed completely quiet for nearly 2 full minutes. Watch.
If you can shut the doors. Go sit down. Okay, so you know we're staying. Can you please shut the doors? Can I show it so you can see that it sees? Oh yeah. They're shutting. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, show it so nobody can everybody can see that. Oh wow, nice job. That's really good. Actually, I don't think it's slamming. Guys, look, he basically. Wait, show it like this so you can see that nobody's pushing the door or something. Okay, can you try opening the doors? If it's too hard, we can help you. Yeah. I'm gonna give you a second to try opening them. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a little push right here. That's good. Now can you please open them? Or shut them? That might have been a little hard right there. They're a little open. Yeah, and also I feel like they would stick together. That'd be hard to do it. Can you push it open? I smell really badly. I'm sweating so much. Me too. Me too. Let's shut it. Oh, awesome job. I feel like this will be easier to open now. Wait, can you try opening it? This is the most activity I've ever actually seen because my mom was always the one that saw the activity happening. Can you please try pushing the doors open instead of shutting them? Wow, nice job. That's really impressive. Oh. Okay. Wait. Good job. Try keeping one open. Okay. Oh, nice job. Okay, guys, let's go downstairs. Okay, we're gonna head downstairs, okay?
The left door slowly, silently swings inward on its own. No creak from the hinges, no scraping against the carpet, just a smooth and deliberate movement that stops on its own about a foot open. What makes this harder to dismiss than a simple draft is the silence. Drafts cause doors to rattle, to creak, to drift unevenly. This door moved with the kind of slow, steady purpose that most people associate with something intentional. Skeptics will argue that a fine string or someone just off-frame could explain it, and that's a fair counterpoint. But the person filming doesn't react. No gasp, no jump, no verbal response, which, combined with the caption suggesting they grew up casually playing with ghosts, implies this isn't even close to the strangest thing they've experienced in this house. That context matters, because the second clip makes it clear this activity didn't start with them. Watch.
Person. Idiot. It's a person. It's Walter. It's a person. It's a guy. Walter is here. Whoever gets Walter. Walter is not scared about God. Walter, let's go. He's locked. Stop.
At night, in a dim hallway with the same dark patterned carpet, a young boy is caught sleepwalking, shirtless, clutching something to his chest, completely disoriented. but what he's saying is the part that stays with you. He's talking to or about someone named Walter, insisting, "It's a person, it's here," his voice breaking into crying before he says, "He never," and then trails off. His brothers, according to the caption, grew up reporting the same thing, a figure they called a top hat man, appearing at night, connected to episodes of sleepwalking just like this. The Hat Man is one of the most consistently reported figures in sleep paralysis and night terror accounts worldwide. A tall, dark, featureless silhouette wearing a wide-brimmed hat, described by people across completely different cultures and languages with eerie similarity. Many researchers believe the figure represents something experienced in the liminal space between sleep and consciousness. But this child isn't describing a shadow, he's describing a person with a name, Walter. Where did that name come from? And what exactly is he seeing in that hallway?